It's time for today's travel and cruise industry news. With the latest from travel and cruises around the world, here's your host, Chillie Falls.
Good morning. Welcome to Travel and Cruise Industry News on this, the 14th day of April 2023, coming to you from Central Virginia area, Bedford County, right outside of Lynchburg. Looks like we're going to have another very nice weather day today, which is lovely. Unfortunately, it may not be that way for all of our cruise friends. The top story this morning is severe weather likely to impact Fort Lauderdale cruises. I have several other stories this morning as well, but that's kind of the biggie. If you're listening via the podcast, welcome aboard. You can always access the podcast via my blog, which is accessadventure.net, or wherever you get your podcasts from. Just search for Travel and Cruise Industry News, and up pops the Fat Travel Guy. Anytime you're listening via the podcast and want to hop over to the video feed to check out any pictures or clips we may be using, just go to the description of the podcast, and there'll be a link to access the video feed. So you can always do that. All right, before I get to the Fort Lauderdale update on what's going on down there, a couple of announcements. Mr. Bucket List and I will be doing a live stream tonight on our upcoming May the 1st hosted solo cruise. It'll be at 7 o'clock. There is a link in the community tab on my channel for tonight. So please feel free to join us. It's more than just the folks that are going to be on the cruise with us. We've invited other people from that cruise as well to join us. Anybody that may at some time be thinking about doing a hosted solo cruise, that might just want some information on how we do things, can join us. And any of you guys in my regular Chillie Cruises family, come on in. We'll have a good time as always. And yeah, we'll be specifically talking about what we're doing for that cruise, but a lot of other things are coming up. At 4 p.m. on Sunday, that's 4 p.m. my time, which would be 9 p.m. on the other side of the pond time. At least Pete and I'm not sure if anybody else will be with us, but at least Pete and I will be doing a live stream to talk about our brand new December the 2nd cruise on Norwegian Escape, which will be a hosted solo cruise. And I'm going to be hosting it. So that's it sails out of Port Canaveral on December 2nd. So to get some of the details on that, I'm not sure if all the details are in yet, but it's a done deal. That will be 4 p.m. my time on Sunday, as we'll be talking about the Norwegian Escape on December 2nd. There are two main changes to my schedule. That, of course, is one of them. That's been added, of course, the December 2nd cruise, Norwegian Escape, 7 nights from Port Canaveral, with stops in Ocherius, Grand Cayman, Cozumel, and Great Stirrup Cay. The other change on my schedule, my June 11th cruise on the Westerdam from Seattle to Alaska and back, round trip from Seattle, has now been canceled. That cruise has moved to August the 20th, and the ship has changed to the Nordam. And I will be sailing 7 nights from Vancouver to Anchorage, with stops in Ketchikan, Juneau, Skagway, sailing the Inside Passage, Glacier Bay National Park, and College Fjord. I will get into Whittier on the 27th. I will, not sure if I'll take the train down to Anchorage or some kind of transfer down to Anchorage and stay in the hotel that Nate has arranged for amigo John and I in Anchorage. And I'll stay there on the 27th, and amigo John will get in on the 28th. And he and I are going to spend a little time burning bridges down in Anchorage. Anchorage is supposed to be is a very handicap accessible city. So we're hoping to maybe do some museums and do some of the things that I normally don't get a chance to do, which of course I'll be sharing all that with you guys via pictures and videos that'll get posted everywhere for that week. So I'll be actually doing almost back to back. They're technically side to sides in Alaska, which I'll do the Noordam up to Whittier, then a couple days in Anchorage, and then take the Sapphire Princess back to Vancouver. It's actually, this is doing it this way, folks, is saving me one cross-country flight, which I like. So I'll only have to fly one time, round trip from, I don't know if it'll be Richmond or Washington. I hope it's Richmond because I can park so much cheaper in Richmond. But I will just have to fly one time instead of flying in June and then flying again in August. So I like that. The other announcement this morning, folks, has to deal in all probability with Tuesday's show, simply because I called my investment banker last night and had asked them to transfer money over to my account, my regular bank account, so I could purchase, if my butt fits in the seat, the power wheelchair, which I got to drive down to North Carolina to put my butt in the seat. And it did not make it overnight in my bank account. So technically, even though it will be there, I have to put this off till next week because I'm not going to drive to North Carolina in case something screwy happened with Wells Fargo, which has been known to happen. Anyway, I will probably put that off Monday for sure. When I open up my bank account Monday morning, the money should be there. I have no idea how much will show up tomorrow as opposed to today, since it's a weekend. So conceivably, I could not be assured that the money's there until Monday. So I'll probably go to North Carolina on Tuesday. To do that, I'm going to do the show probably that day, and I'll know definitely on Monday. But probably on Tuesday, I'll do the show early, like I do when I'm in a port. It's probably will go live at 9 o'clock instead of 11 o'clock on Tuesday. I will let everybody know on that on Monday, but just giving you a heads up to what may be happening next week. That's a good possibility. All right, let's start off first this morning with our main story today. And that deals, of course, with Fort Lauderdale. This was taken right at sundown last night. As you can see, the airport still was pretty well flooded. This was yesterday during the day. So, severe weather in South Florida over the past few days, particularly around Fort Lauderdale and Port Everglades, may have significant impacts on cruise travelers, especially those who may be flying into Fort Lauderdale Holiday International Airport. Flooding and rain damage may also create difficulties for travelers driving to the cruise port. A series of severe storms and torrential rain in Broward County on Wednesday and yesterday, and then there was more last night, caused severe flooding and damage in different areas. As a result, Port Everglades is undergoing a damage assessment. While the port is currently open, there are possible delays for cruise guests. As much as 20 inches of rain fell, and there were some estimates this morning of 30 in some parts of the area, and in a matter of hours, closed roads, stranding motorists. The airport closed, and actually was closed from 4 p.m. Wednesday and was supposed to reopen at 9 o'clock this morning. Somewhere in the vicinity of 800 flights have been canceled. Several were diverted to other airports. The Broward County schools, the sixth largest school system in the United States, was closed yesterday. I did not hear about if they were going to try to get back to school today. As of 10:30 yesterday morning, the city of Fort Lauderdale was still under a flood advisory, alerting residents and visitors alike to the dangerous conditions. Only one cruise ship scheduled in Port Everglades yesterday was the Viking Octantis, which stopped in Fort Lauderdale as a port of call during her seasonal repositioning from Buenos Aires to Toronto. Royal Caribbean International's Liberty of the Seas is in Port Everglades today, while 5 different ships are scheduled for tomorrow. Caribbean Princess, Costa Deliciosa, Volendam from Holland America, 2 ships from Celebrity, the Celebrity Equinox, and Celebrity Apex. Similarly, 5 vessels are scheduled for Sunday: Regal Princess, Emerald Princess, Odyssey of the Seas, Celebrity Reflection, and Celebrity Beyond. So, the Fort Lauderdale airport, like I said, was scheduled to reopen at 8 o'clock this morning. But keep in mind, that does not mean the planes started flying at 8 or 9 o'clock this morning. That's when they started cleaning up and inspecting for damages, and we're not going to know until it's cleaned up, assuming the water has gone down. And I did not get a report since early this morning on that. They have to clean up and inspect for damage from some 20 inches of rain 27 inches of rain at the airport. And currently the updated number was 800 canceled flights. And then once they get it cleaned and cleared for damage, then we can start to see things getting back to normal. Same thing has to be done in the port. There was just Octantis yesterday, and that's a port of call, which does not necessarily mean there are embarkation and debarkations. The Liberty of the Seas coming in today is a different story. So the people obviously have to get in for that. So there may be issues with the airports. We're just going to have to wait and see. Cruise guests should be aware that local road closures could also impact the travel time or preferred routes to the port terminals. Parking areas could also have been flooded, which could impact other folks that are driving in. It's best for all cruise guests booked on Fort Lauderdale cruises this weekend all the way through Sunday. I would stay in close contact with the cruise line about the possibility of delays or terminal changes. one of the terminals that currently is scheduled for a ship, if it had some damage, they might have to shuffle that ship to another terminal. So any of those things are a possibility, folks. Guests flying in for sailing should stay in touch with the airlines for diversions or cancellations and possibly make alternative travel arrangements if possible, such as flying to a different airport, like, Palm Beach, which is about 50 miles to the north, or Miami, which is 30 miles to the south. And then hopefully there'll be some type of public transportation that gets you from each to one airport to the other. So it's going to be a mess in Fort Lauderdale. Thankfully, it didn't affect Miami as badly as it did Fort Lauderdale. Fortunately for this weekend's cruisers, the weather looks much more promising. That's a good thing. Hopefully the rains will taper off. Could be some afternoon showers, but that's it. All right, I'll be back with a couple more stories after a quick break from one of our network sponsors. And the next story this morning has to do with our friends over at Princess Cruise Lines. Princess Cruise Lines has just announced that passengers booking Journey on the Sky Princess, as well as the firm's slightly smaller Regal Princess, both departing from Southampton, will be treated to festivities designed to honor the upcoming coronation of King Charles III. Next month, on May the 6th, these two UK-based Princess cruise ship have put together a collection of coronation-focused activities and entertainment, all designed to commemorate this momentous British occasion. His Royal Highness the Duke of Cornwall, who will now become King, and Queen Camilla, formerly referred to by the title of Queen Consort Camilla, will officially take on their new roles as head of the royal family on Saturday, May the 6th. The coronation will be held at Westminster Abbey in London. To commemorate this historical event, passengers aboard Regal Princess and Sky Princess will have the chance to view the coronational proceedings live. Guests will be able to take in Guests will be able to take in the star-studded show, the coronation concert at Windsor Castle, as well. All of these coronation-based related festivities will be shown on the Movies Under the Stars Jumbotron, while on the top deck they'll also host a lively recreation of the biggest street party, creating a memorable experience for anyone attending these viewings on the vessels. The two ships involved in these Royal Caribbean or royal celebrations will also serve a lovely royal afternoon tea featuring treats like Victoria sponge cake. On the top deck, voyagers can indulge in Pimm's, that's a gin-based liquor, and strawberries, while the World Fresh Market will serve items like sausage rolls, fish and chips, and the like. The well-known guest presenter, Grant Harold, who once served as the King's butler, is scheduled to deliver talks on board Regal Princess from 3 to 5, and on Sky Princess he's on Regal Princess May 3rd to the 5th, and on Sky Princess from May 6th to the 13th. His expertise concerning royal traditions and etiquette should be of great interest to fans of the monarchy. To further enhance the festive atmosphere, the ship's expansive piazza atriums will be adorned with regal banners and buntings in red, white, and blue. Passengers can and probably should don the same array of royal colors as well. One of the things that has been kind of interesting to many of us here in America, there's a lot of other activities going on both ships. I'm not going to bore you with all of the interesting, but there's been some debate on Queen Camilla's references. So I spoke with my buddy Dave Monk this morning of Ship Monks, and he clarified the situation. So I want to shout out to Dave for helping me through this. But it seems that the royal invitation that went out from Buckingham Palace is the first time they referred to Queen Camilla. The invitation was printed on recycled cards with gold foil, detailing features, symbols, flora, fauna, and the coat of arms. It'll be sent out to over 2,000 guests, inviting them to the May 6th event at Westminster Abbey. First Lady Jill Biden will represent the U.S., by the way. The invitation refers to the King's wife as Queen Camilla for the first time, officially dropping the word consort from her title. So what I found out this morning from Dave is royal aides have also confirmed that Queen Camilla is now considered the appropriate title for the king's wife. And that following the coronation, this is how she will be known. So again, my thanks to Dave Monk at Chipmunks for my coronation update this morning, as a matter of fact. All right. I'll be back with a couple more stories after a quick break from Scoot Around.
Do you have a bad back, bad hips, bad knees, or any other mobility issues? Think about Scoot Around. For scooters, walkers, wheelchairs, even oxygen needs, delivered right to your cabin. Scoot Around for all your mobility needs on your upcoming cruise.
And of course, they've been good to me for 9 years now. 9 years less the 3 years between the pandemic and cancer that I was not sailing. Every cruise that I've done, I've had a scooter on. I called to transfer the scooter from the June cruise over to the August cruise. And then my next list that I send in to Scoot Around will have the back half of that. So I will still be using Scoot Around scooters. They are sponsoring me through this year and are providing me scooters through this year. So whatever I may or may not do with a power wheelchair has absolutely nothing to do with Scoot Around. And the only reason, and I don't mind telling you this, folks, the only reason that I'm not going with Scoot Around, of course, they're owned by Will Power Chairs. They make a lightweight, foldable scooter, just wheelchair, power wheelchair, just like the one I'm getting, only the seat is 18 inches wide. My butt is considerably wider than 18 inches, so I would not fit comfortably in that chair. So it's also why I'm going down and putting my fat butt in a chair before I purchase one. The other reason is Will Power Chairs makes bigger chairs, but they're much heavier. They're too heavy for me to load into my car, for instance. The chair that I'm looking at is only 50 pounds. I can do that. I do that all the time with my little scooter. I can't do that with a big chair. So I didn't mean to sit there and be talking all over with the picture still up. Sorry about that. So anyway, that's why I'm not going with the wheelchair. It's just too small. And I will not purchase this one that I'm going to see, the Electra 7 wide body, unless my wide body fits in it. And then I may be able to do some things on cruises that I have not been able to do on scooters, like, for instance, going on excursions, getting off and getting on a bus, for instance, or a van, because this will be able to be folded up and put in the trunk just like my luggage, or in a bus in the compartment underneath. And yes, I can walk. Some of my little bit of few steps that I can walk would get me up on a bus. The other drawback to the situation with the wheelchair, and the argument is, oh, well, that'll come apart into small enough pieces for you to load. Yes, it will. But I can only stand roughly the same amount of time it takes me to walk my maximum, which is 20 yards or less. So standing and putting, even if it's just really simple to do, putting the scooter together, and I'm standing there at the back of my car, what happens if I don't get it put together before I'm out of oxygen, even with the portable unit? No, that's just running a risk. So I need to be able to take the thing out of the car that I can lift myself, open it up, sit down, even if I have to plug in the joystick, plug it in and go. So that's what I'm hoping I'll find when I go down to North Carolina. All right, finally, folks, a couple more stories to get to. Doing this a little bit different today, as you can tell. MSC Group, owner of MSC Cruises and the new luxury lifestyle brand Explora Journeys, announced that Explora 1, the first vessel in a planned 6-ship fleet for the luxury line, has finished her sea trials, which included a series of performance tests in navigation, propulsion, and other key systems. Construction of the ship began June 21st, or June 2021. The 922 guest Explora 1 is being built at Fincantieri shipyard in Monfalcone, Italy, and will enter service in July of 2023. With final preparations now underway, the ship is scheduled to be christened in Civitavecchia, the port for Rome, on July the 8th. Explora Journeys announced earlier this month the ship's godmother will be Dr. Sylvia Earle, the renowned American oceanographer, explorer, biologist, and conservationist, who will preside over that ceremony. Anthem of the Seas yesterday announced that it's got some problems with an upcoming cruise. The January 29th departure of Anthem is being altered, with every port of call being changed in some way. The cruise line has contacted guests to explain the changes as follows. Puerto Plata in the Dominican Republic is canceled completely. Charlotte, Amalie, and St. Thomas, 9 a.m. to 7 p.m. instead of 11 to 7. St. Martin is 8 a.m. to 4 p.m. instead of 8 to 5. So you gained 2 hours in St. Thomas. You lost an hour in St. Martin. At St. Lucia's, 9:30 to 5 instead of 8 to 5. You lost an hour and a half there. St. Kitts from 7:30 to 3 instead of 7 to 4. So you lose another hour and a half there. So in total, you're losing a total of 2 hours from time that would have been spent on excursions. While this may not seem like a significant change, that could possibly make a difference for excursions and cut down on the time guests may have to shop and enjoy the beaches and visit local restaurants and all the things that you do on excursions. Royal Caribbean offered no further explanation for the adjustments other than to maintain a safe and comfortable speed for the sailing, which of course had everybody jumping to the assumption that once again Anthem of the Seas is experiencing propulsion issues. There is no evidence to that, folks. And this is a change on one cruise. Not all of their cruises are being changed to make some kind of changes for propulsion issues. So I don't buy that. Royal Caribbean is doing this for some other reason. I don't know what it is, but some other reason. All right, after a lot of anticipation, Crystal Cruises has finally announced that it will take passengers around the world next year, offering the chance to visit scores of destinations with over 100 days on a newly renovated gem of the ultra luxurious fleet. 2 versions of this once in a lifetime adventure set sail from either side of the United States and are available now to book. The newly renovated Crystal Serenity will undertake a global adventure, departing either Miami or San Diego. Voyagers will embark on a 125-night world cruise with the option to add a segment through the Panama Canal that would bring the trip to a total of 141 nights. During the world cruise, the Serenity will make stops at 62 destinations in 29 countries. The passengers will visit island paradises, ancient landmarks, and long romanticized landscapes from French Polynesia to the French Riviera, including stops in Australia and New Zealand, Indonesia and Singapore, India and Egypt, as well as Jordan, Italy, and of course, much other. Crystal Serenity is undergoing an extensive refurbishment at the shipyards at Trieste, Italy, with a debut in Marseille, currently set for July the 31st. The Crystal brand, as well as the Crystal Serenity and Crystal Symphony, were acquired by Abercrombie and Kent Travel Group in 2022, and the partnership looks to the horizons to manifest a future of exceptional suites, exceptional service, exceptional dining, and exceptional experiences. So Crystal is going to be back in business once again. And finally this morning, folks, on a story that wasn't particularly good, deals with the Ambience Did I just kick everybody out? Sorry about that. Trieste. Roll the R. Trieste. 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 Sorry about that. Where are you, Chillie? Okay. I assume I'm back now, guys. Yes, I hear you. That was my fault. I somehow kicked everybody out. So I'll go back on the story on the Ambience, which was the last story. The Ambience, which is a ship for Ambassador, sought refuge from stormy weather at Cherbourg, France on Wednesday while traveling from Ireland to Honfleur. Although the ship was burst, some mooring lines failed, causing the ship to nearly break free, with the gangway hanging from the starboard side. Tugboats were called in and the ship was safely secured at berth, with all passengers and crew remaining on board. During the incident, there were reports of damage to the starboard hull. So, the audio stopped at Ambience. Okay, thanks, Dennis. So that's all I had to make up. That was the last story, by the way, folks. I must have, when I was flipping from my script back to the pictures, obviously, I hit the wrong button, I guess. All right, let's jump over and see who's fussing at me in the comments. Who's with us today? Mike's with, my goodness, Mike was with us way early this morning. Kenneth's here up in Pennsylvania. There's Gretchen out in Ohio. Hi there, Tom. Who knows where he is? Driving again today. He got to South Carolina and started freezing to death. And now he's driving on to various domains in Florida. Carol's with us. She says, greetings from Grand Turk. I like Grand Turk. Tomorrow back to Fort Lauderdale. Good luck. No worries for me. I'm staying on board and heading to Southampton in the UK. Sweet. You don't have to get into the floodwaters in Fort Lauderdale. Carol, that's awesome. And you're doing the TA on, that's terrific. Dennis is here. Lovely beach, Carol. Yes. 16th WDW time. One of my favorite islands. Nikki's with us, says good morning to everybody. Nikki now is the proud owner of a scooter, by the way, folks. I don't know. Nikki, did you not want that to be known? I didn't even think about that. Sorry if you didn't want that out. But yeah, sorry. Cindy's with us. That's good news for Carol. Tom and Sydney called me from the Dames Point Bridge, your favorite bridge, Chillie. Yes, it is. So I could wave as they passed Jacksonville. They're on their way. Chillie, you can save a lot by booking an airport car park online. Yeah, if I was driving to Florida, I could. I have at Richmond. I'm flying. If I was driving to Florida, I would. This time, this next cruise, I'm flying, and I have a car park right near Richmond Airport. That's $8 a day, which is pretty cheap. If I drive to Florida, the cruise ports down there will give me free parking. So I'm still going to try that the next time I drive to Florida. And there are some car parks like in Washington or around the Washington airports, which are the flight may be a little cheaper than it is from Richmond, But then if I have to pay $20 or so a day for parking, that doesn't help me any, because I end up spending, I'll be gone. Like when I go to Vancouver, that's going to be 14, 15, 16, 17, about 19 days. Up there, that's $380. I mean, that's a whole damn cruise to park my car. So anyway, yeah, that's for flying. Again, I'm saving on one long, transcontinental flight, which I like a lot. About doing these side to side. Chillie, you can say, well, yeah, Emily's with us. Hi, Emily. 63 centimeters. Dennis is calculating my centimeters. 25 from the headline. A severe weather likely to impact. I'm not sure what headline you're referring to. A severe weather likely to impact Fort Lauderdale cruises was the headline that I thought would be shown. But anyway, I could be confused, which is nothing unusual for me, Dennis. You know that by now. It's awful for Fort Lauderdale. Yes, it is. I'm going to make sure my car is parked high up in the parking garage when I cruise from Miami shortly. The Lake Deliciosa. I pronounced that one wrong too. Deliciosa. Emily says, how is everyone today? Trying to stay cool. We're going to have a nice day here in Virginia again. Not near as bad as warm as it was the last couple days, but still, it's going to be a nice day here. Emily says, Cindy, great idea. Make it more safer. Carol says, we received an emergency notification here on the Regal Princess last night about the airport, making everyone aware of air cancellations and any other travel arrangements that may need to be changed. Yeah, it's going to be a mess for people coming in and getting off the ships there and being able to get to the airport because they're going to be all the trickle down crap. So, I mean, things could be a total disaster there today and tomorrow. It's very possible. So I wouldn't want to be going into Fort Lauderdale this weekend. That's awful. Dennis says, yes, it was a lovely day. Nikki, that was very kind of Tom and Cindy. Carol says, I'm on Regal until May the 8th. So that's exciting to be able to see the coronation on the big screen and the festivities. How exciting. Vicky Sponge sounds yummy. Yes, indeed. Victoria Sponge sounds yummy. It's Queen Diana. Everyone hates Camilla. The palace tries its best to including also paying people to greet her with flowers to help soften the home wreckers. Poor image. My thought on this was, everybody was saying Queen Consort, which set her apart from Queen. And I'm figuring that Bonnie King Charlie says, oh, no, folks, I'll go through hell if we don't call her Queen. So make that official. Wouldn't surprise me in the least if he did that to keep his bedroom a little safer. I don't have quite near as much respect for her as I'm more like Dennis. Let's put it that way. Emily says, have a great time, Carol. She's a true royal person. Yes, indeed. It's Piazza. Oh, I forgot the T. Pronounced like pizza with A in the middle. Piazza. See, Dennis, I tried to do a couple things right and then ended up screwing up things that I thought I was going to do right. Great story about the Queen. We all learned something today. She is absolutely horrible person. The palace has been working hard to revamp her poor image. She's not the prettiest thing in the world either. I shouldn't say that. That's not very nice to say. Awesome Ugg Queen Camilla. Little known fact: Meghan Markle is my third cousin. Well, how sweet is that? Her great grandfather Markle and my great grandmother are siblings. I'll be darned. That's pretty cool. I just found out, so I haven't tried yet. Oh, Emily asked, are you able to communicate with her? The press and the palace have treated Meghan horribly. Yes, they have. Carol's not fond of Camilla. That's interesting. Study a third cousin. Wow. Carol, she has the got the Windsors in one. Yeah. Game of Thrones. Cindy agrees with Dennis and Carol. I've never been fond of Camilla. NM team Harry and Meghan all the way. Everybody seems to like Harry and Meghan. Cindy, she has been, the palace sources say, for many decades. Dennis agrees with Team H&M. Trieste. That's when the sound went out. DCL's oldest ship, Disney Magic, is in dry dock. I did see that somewhere. Tom let Chillie know. Where are you, Chillie? Chillie, the audio stopped at Ambience. Okay, now everybody says they're back. So I'm back to see everybody. See in here. Trieste. Remember, pronounce the E's and AY as they. Trieste. 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 Wow, I'm still having trouble with that one. No, Trieste. Trieste. Oh. Me and Italians just don't get along very well. Dennis. Don't get along very well. Nikki says, my scooter, and I thank you for the announcement. Sorry, Nikki, I didn't even think that you might want to keep that to yourself. So sorry. You kicked out Chillie for your car. You lucked out Chillie for your car. There we are with another one. Deliciosa. Katie says, hello. Hi, Katie. Katie's probably on her lunch hour. 63 centimeters, about 25 inches. Oh, the rainfall amount from the news headlines. Yes, now I see what we're talking about. Yeah, sorry, Dennis. If I start having to do things 10 centimeters and meters, I'll go nuts. Intellectually, I can figure it out, but to be able to just convert things, no, it ain't gonna happen. Pardon the Italian lesson, folks, during the live stream. Oh yeah, everybody's used to that because they know that I'm trying, but I'm just so bad at it sometimes. Was it Charles who changed Queen Consort to Queen? Well, we don't know about that. And of course, my information coming out of London this morning from my buddy Dave, he did not go that far. So, she's not a royal, which is why she was queen consort. Now she'll probably try to get titles for her children. Yeah, that I wouldn't be surprised if that didn't happen. Yes, 3/8 day, you had it. Probably did it wrong again. Some of her family are participating in the coronation. Yeah, well, there are a lot of us that certainly would have preferred to see Diana still with us. I just loved her and I thought that was the greatest thing that had ever happened. Dennis says, Chillie, a reminder that you're doing better than the cruise clowns. Bruce, Emma, Don, even Gary Bendridge can't properly pronounce these words, but at least he has a good factual content. Well, thank you, Dennis. I do appreciate that, and I appreciate all of the lessons you give me. So, all right, guys, that's going to wrap me up for the weekend. Unless something major happens, I will be in a situation to follow things. I'm going to be pretty busy all weekend with doing various online activities. So if anything major happens, I will go live. I'll be back at the regular time on Monday with the possibility, and I'll know Monday, the possibility that Tuesday's show will be at 9 o'clock instead of 11 o'clock. So 2 hours early with the live. We'll see how that goes on over the weekend and make sure my money got transferred in properly. Dennis says, I want you to be on top of your game. Thank you, Dennis. I appreciate that. So that's going to wrap me up for today, folks. As always, stay safe, stay healthy, think about cruising, and hopefully one day soon we'll all get together on the high seas. I'd sure like to cruise with all of you guys at some point in time. Have a fantastic day, everybody.
I regularly post videos on all facets of the travel and cruise industry. So if you like to keep up with the latest in cruise ships, ports of call, cruises themselves, Chillie chats, and travel and cruise industry news, just hit the little subscribe button in the lower right-hand corner, hit the bell notification so you'll be notified when a new video is up or we go live. This video was produced by Chillie's Cruises.